Hey folks, I am Shatay Edwards at Choreo by Shatay on Twitter and Instagram. Wink, wink. Welcome to my very first session of Soul Talk. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, anyways, so Soul Talk, which is powered by theworkingdancer.com, is just essentially for the Working Dancer tribe. So these are any specific questions that I may not have covered yet on theworkingdancer.com. If you'd like them answered, just tweet me your questions. I'll shout you out and answer them here on Soul Talk. It's just another way for us to connect and for you to get the information that you need to help you out on your journey. So for newcomers, for those of you who don't know what the Working Dancer is, it's essentially my platform to share all the information that I've learned and gained from pursuing my own professional dance career to help others to do the same. I get questions all the time from my students on how to start their dance careers or how to pursue their careers once they leave the college campuses, and this is my way of doing that. I have such a wide range or depth of experience under my belt, ranging from performing and teaching internationally to performing and choreographing theater productions to I've done fashion shows and performed and choreographed for local artists, and I have a master's in dance as well, and I'm a dance professor. With such a okay, so the point is I've done a lot of stuff and I can help some people, and I just want to do that. The main reason I'm doing this, not only to help my students, but I remember starting out right out of college, interested in or passionate about pursuing my dance career, and I didn't really know where to start. So I had some friends from college in LA, and so I went in that direction, but once I got there, I had no clue as to where to begin, so I had to kind of just build my career brick by brick without any kind of knowledge beforehand, aside from the research that I had done on choreographers, but I didn't really know what to do before then. I did start taking private lessons from someone at a local studio in Houston, and he was kind of able to give me a little bit of heads up, but essentially I got to LA and was just kind of like, okay, now what? So the Working Dancer is just to help people who were like me, who are just starting out, and you have this desire, you have this passion, and you're just not really sure where to go from there. Make sure you join the movement. If that's you, or if you know someone like that, just become a part of the movement. You can find us on theworkingdancer.com. Find us on Facebook at The Working Dancer as well. And we also have a closed group for working dancers to get together and support one another, post their projects, ask their questions, inspire one another, encourage one another. Just vent if you're frustrated and you feel like quitting. Just find that on Facebook as well. And you can tweet me at Choreo by Shatay again if you have your own questions that you'd like to be covered here on Soul Talk. So speaking of Soul Talk, our first question came from a friend of mine, and she said, you know, a good place to start would be just at the beginning. So basically, now that you have this degree, you have your BFA, you have your BA, you have your MFA, MA, whatever your degree is in dance, if that's what you chose to do. And again, you don't have to have a degree in dance to be a professional dancer, but say you went that route. Now that you've graduated, what do you do next? That was a great question and something that I hadn't covered on the blog just yet. So my short answer to that is you get working. I talk about that, about how to get the dance jobs you really want, in one of my blog posts. So talk about some of the steps in that post. You can find the link below. But essentially, it depends on where your interests lie as far as how to go about doing that. So if you want to, say, be over a high school dance company, or be involved in a drill team, or teach on any type of kind of secondary level, or even elementary, all of those levels, you would need to get a teaching certification, obviously, and then you would just apply to those school districts, right? If you want to be involved in arts administration, you would reach out to nonprofits and apply to those jobs. So essentially, you can just start looking on search engines and applying for jobs. that's a really easy way to get started. But I would also encourage you to start doing your homework before you graduate, right? So in preparation for leaving and starting this job, to prevent an issue of getting out of college and then being like, okay, so now what? Start the search beforehand, which is something that I wish I had done before I graduated from college. But in my defense, I didn't really know that I was going to pursue dance professionally before I graduated college. So that's a different story for a different day, okay? By starting early, I mean definitely reach out or check around exactly where you are. So see if there are any job postings in your department on your campus. See if your department has any specific contacts, if any businesses or organizations or choreographers are looking for talent specifically from this campus. That would be a great place to start. I would also check out or ask your professors, make sure you know their background and where they came from, and just see if they are able to offer any help by way of just advice or even connections before you leave. That's a great resource, I think, and a great benefit of having attended college in a degree program is that you have those resources right there in the program in the form of those professors, right? And then I would also get out in the community. If you know you're going to be staying in the same city where your college campus is, I would definitely start getting out into the community before you graduate. So start going to auditions in the area, start applying for work in the area, doing whatever you need to get your face and your presence out in the community, because that's essentially what you're doing, right? You're just trying to get yourself out there, trying to make sure that you're establishing yourself as talent that is available to work. The gist of freelancing is that you just have to start somewhere and you have to get your name out there. Again, check the post that I talked about, check the link on how to get the jobs you really want. But the gist of it is that you need professional materials, so that's headshot, resume, a reel would always help as well. You need to be getting out there and auditioning. In some cases you will need an agent, in a lot of cases you won't. I got a lot of work without an agent on my own. Even though I did have an agent when I was in LA. You need to be submitting to jobs, right? So that means you need to be able to craft a professional and grammatically correct cover letter to submit yourself, right? So that you can put your best foot forward. You need to be out in the community. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. That is my biggest piece of advice. You just need to get out there. You need to be in the studios, taking classes, going to auditions, going to intensives, making yourself know, maybe teaching at some of those studios, because that's building those relationships is where the work comes from, to be perfectly honest with you. So the more and more you build those relationships and put yourself out there, the more and more people will know that, and before long the opportunities will be coming to you instead of you seeking them out. But people have to know you, and not only do they need to know you, they need to know what you can do. That's where a large percentage of my work comes from these days as well. Even though I'm teaching, I get calls all the time from people saying, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? Or I'm still submitting to stuff as well. I'll go on auditions still. I still submit to theaters who might need a choreographer. I just still put myself out there. So I'm not giving you any advice that I'm not already taking myself. Get a part-time or full-time job until your dancing is able to support you. There is some information in this book I recently read called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I really wish I had access to this information when I was in my 20s, but she basically talks about how early on she made a decision to become a writer, and so with that she decided to write every single day. And not only did she make that decision, but she also was smart enough to know or to decide not to put the pressure on her writing to support her financially, right? So she got other jobs so that she could just enjoy writing and grow her writing and submit to being published as a writer. And that way she wouldn't lose the joy and lose the creativity from that undue pressure or stress. And I wish I really had known that early on, because I wouldn't have sweat so much having the jobs that I had. I would have learned to enjoy them so that I could always enjoy the dancing. But I didn't, and so I got burnt out and tired and resentful and bitter, and I wanted to quit, and then I did for a little bit. Again, I say all of that in my blog post, How Your Ego Can Prevent You from Getting Work, Part 2. Check the description. So the big takeaway is to put yourself out there. But get the job if you need to get a job. don't feel like you have to be in a rush. Let your career grow and flourish on its own. Like anything in life, there will be ebbs and flows, right? So you'll have down seasons and you'll have up seasons. But the point is to persevere, to keep going. Don't quit. It's hard work, but it's so worth it, right? Especially if this is something that you know you're purposed for and you're passionate about. So just keep at it and just know that you're not alone in the journey, that there are others who are going through it right now or who have been through it, and that we can just all help one another out, right? So if you have questions or found this content helpful and informative, I definitely would love to hear from you. Make sure you join the movement at theworkingdancer.com, Facebook, The Working Dancer, both the closed group as well as our Facebook page. Make sure you like us there. And just connect with me on Twitter at Choreo by Shatay. I would love to hear from you and shout you out and talk to you. So until next time, happy dancing, folks. Mwah.